Working with Matthew ended up being just a massive transition from kind of the poor man's implementation, the DIY version. And the biggest reason why was I was just trying to do too much. Pretty early on, he pushed me to a level of clarity that I needed to say, hey, this is the thing that I really want to do. I came asking for advice on sales. What I really needed to start with was advice on what not to sell. I remember in particular, the reason that I called was, this is embarrassing, but it's true. And I think it's what a lot of introverts struggle with. I was part of our local chamber and we had this big, I think it was a Christmas thing or something, some celebration. And it was just a raw networking event. And if you could describe my hell on earth, it would be a networking event where you walk in and just mingle with a bunch of people who you don't know. And he dialed in on that very quickly in our first call and was able to help me tremendously. So I can't say on the backside of it that I love networking events, but I know how to work them. And I feel like I can do it much more competently and with a heck of a lot less stress. We went through 3 major transitions in my business during the time that he was working with me. And so his help in just kind of solidifying each of those steps along the way, as I found, hey, this is what I'm really meant to do. This is what I'm really good at, was super effective. So coming out on the flip side of that, and it's about a year later, but I'm sitting around $10,000 a week now in sales, whereas before it was like, I'm hoping for $10,000 a quarter. So it was a really big transition and one that I'm massively grateful for. If you're in a stage where the primary problem that you're dealing with is generating consistent revenue, and whatever part of that, whether it be developing the leads, converting leads, closing deals, Matthew works through that whole process with you, then it is absolutely worth it. In fact, I recommend quite a number of clients over to Matthew and say, hey, you got to work with him before you work with me. When it comes down to it, it really is a question. It's not a question of really how much, because it's going to pale in comparison to what you're going to make on it. It's not even a question of time, because you're wasting a ton of time anyway. It's a question of whether or not it solves the biggest problem that you're facing right now. So if you're dealing with a revenue challenge, and there's no shame in that, it's what most people are dealing with early on, then it is absolutely the best resource. And I would not hesitate to recommend you myself. Absolutely, hands down, Matthew's system is the best one out there. I've looked at a lot. I've even taught some of them, but I would say it's just second to none. Working with Matthew directly is awesome. He's just a wonderful guy. You know, some folks who are really talented are massive jerks, and Matthew's not that at all. He walks just a really, really efficient and effective line between telling what you need to hear and telling it to you in a way that is easy to receive and internalize and move forward with. So I deeply appreciate my time with Matthew. It was, again, a perfect fit for the perfect time for me, and would strongly recommend if you've got a small business, you're looking for rapid growth and you need the revenue to make it happen, he's your guy. He's your rapid growth guy. I can say that.